What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer taking a look at this Snake Eye Lyrilusc list I made. It's pretty interesting. It's really fun deck. Unfortunately, it's like kind of thin when it comes to like interaction. If your opponent has like multiple hand traps, there's probably nothing you can do about it. But I think this is like one of the better Lyrilusc engines if you're not playing like Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade, which is a really big popular one. There's a lot of Lyrilusc Spright too, and of course, like Spright just kind of does fit in here. I feel like it's really necessary, but let's go card by card, and I'll explain what's going on. So definitely, I think the standard, you have to play at least 9 going second cards. I do play 1-for-1, so I tend to think that they're better as monsters. So I run 3 Kaijus, 3 Ash, 3 Droll and Lockbird. I used to play Nibiru, but you know, it's okay in the side deck or something like that if you really like it, or you can main deck it if you feel that confident, but I just feel like Gameciel is a little bit more ubiquitously good. Also, I mean, there's a decent half interaction where, you know, if you give your opponent Gameciel, you can then like bounce it back to your hand with the Ancient Warriors. So I think that's kind of a cool interaction. Ash is Ash. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And Droll is just like game winning in this format against certain decks. I hate this card. Snake Eyes, the Flamberge Dragon. This is the new archetype that is yet to come out. And then, you know, I have like one of Sprites. I mean, technically, in a way, they are bricks, but not really, because if you open up any one of these, that means you get access to the full Spright engine, because normally you're just going for one, like Carrot. But if you open up like one of the names, then you don't have to. Then you can go for, you know, Red and Carrot, which is good. The rest of the Snake Eye package is right here. Just 1 Orc, 3 Excel, 1 White Birch, and then 1 Salamangreat Mole. Now, this is a really random one, but there aren't a lot of, as you might imagine, level 1 fire extenders. This is like the only one. Because a lot of the times you're going to be in this situation, because I'm also playing Bonfire, where I'll have Excel and I'll have White Birch, or I'll have Excel and I'll have Bonfire in my hand. And then it just gets redundant, and you kind of just continue to search. Like, there's nothing to search, right? This adds a level 1 fire monster from my deck to my hand. Normally, it's always going to be this, but if you already have this, or you also have Bonfire, like, you need another extender, or else, like, your hand's kind of bricked. So Salamangreat Mole is just one of those. It lets you special summon to a link point, a monster points too. It's not the best, honestly. I hope in the future there is a better level 1 extender, or probably just another Snake Eye monster that's, like, you know, better than these ones. But for now, you know, Mole works. Sometimes it's kind of, like, unfortunate to see in your opening hand, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely necessary, I feel like. This is Slower Swallow. This is a free special summon, which is super duper important. Or if you have like every extender ever known to man, you contribute it, and I think you get to draw 2 cards for your draw phase. Alright, that's cool. This is Celestial Wagtail. This lets you search the Lyrilusc spell and trap. 2 copies of Sapphire Swallow. I wouldn't run 3, because sometimes when you see it in your hand, it's bad. Like in your opening hand, I should say. And that it doesn't really do anything unless there's a monster on board. So, like, if you have, you know, Excel and you go through the combo line, you still can't special summon this card because you don't control a winged beast. And that's, like, you know, unfortunate. Turquoise Warbler is a little bit different because it's just, at worst, a free special summon. The best interaction always Swallow, later in the turn special summon Warbler, because then you get a special summon, and then Warbler can Monster Reborn something from the graveyard. This is like a recent change that I made, but I definitely think you need to play 3. A Barrel Canary is so cool. Like, one thing that's worth noting is this brings back any Lyrilusc monster. It's not a level 1, so if you had to basically link off one of your Recital Starlings to go into your Tri-Brigade Fairjeet, you can actually, you know, special summon Canary and bring back one of these. That way you can go into F-Zero. So it's kind of a cool interaction for sure. I definitely like that. Alright, so let's keep this train rolling here. This is Cobalt Sparrow. This searches a level 1 winged beast, which of course is like the entire archetype. Tri-Brigade Nerval is just your way to summon out your Ancient Gear Warrior, or Ancient Warriors, Double Dragon Lords, whatever you want to call it. 2 Bonfire. Like I said, if you really, like, I don't know, you could drop like a Mole and run 3 Bonfire, but, you know, like, I was getting to this point where I was trying to like max all of these out, and I was just like seeing too many copies of them, and it just like really wasn't working. So I think 2 is kind of nice. Same thing with Lyrilusc Bird Call. You can only use it once, you know what I mean? And you're like almost always going to be able to search it out, because every card is searchable and special summonable. 1 copy of 1-for-1. This gets you to the entire deck. Where are if that was not a once per turn? Like, how absurd. It's a very good card. Called by the Grave, right? It's a combo deck. You got to like give yourself as much, hope as you can when it comes to like enduring hand traps. And then one starter. If you open starter, great. You just use it. You know what I mean? So it's not really a brick. So, the Zeus line, of course, pretty straightforward. This like level 1 decks use this anyways, but this is a Lyrilusc deck. So, Zeus, Downward Magician, Assembled Nightingale. This is the one that protects you. Well, lets you attack directly, which is great. It also, in worst case scenario, can protect you through battle or card destruction as a quick effect, which is great. So if you have to like sit a turn, this is like a really good monster to just like, sit down, especially if you can get like Cobalt Sparrow underneath it. It's a great way to last a turn. Gigantic Spright. You're going to have Tri-Brigade Fairjeet and whatever, Link 2 that you want. So you can use it for Gigantic. Djinn Busters for the Spright line. Talked about F-Zero, right? Ensemble Robin is great. It's a special summon bounce. 3 copies of Recital Starling, absolutely necessary. You could run 2 and then run the other one that bounces back spells and traps if you really wanted to, but there's been times where I've needed to use all 3, so I kind of think it's necessary. Tri-Brigade Fairjeet. This is Bujin, help special summon a couple from the hand. Could come in handy, you never know. There's not a lot of good Link 2s anyways. When it comes to like this deck specifically, when it comes to extenders. So I just grabbed the only 2 that there are basically. This one also, the Star Leader Dragon, is also one that, special summons from hand. Like it's a free special summon. Unfortunately, it does negate, but it's alright. It's decent enough. You can put whatever Link 2 you want in here. And then I talked about, double Dragon Lords. Side deck doesn't really matter, right? Just like whatever side deck you want. I think the only one worth mentioning really is Crossout. Definitely wouldn't do that, right, when you know you're going first, just to give yourself a way better chance to set up your end board. So I think, yeah, it's a good side deck option. The other ones are like wishy-washy, whatever you think is good. So let's go ahead. I'll show a couple of replays here. A couple of them, I'll just take a look. Now, there's like this impression, I think, that there's a lot of bricks in this deck, but there really isn't. Like, here's 2, like, you would consider, like, bricks, but, you'll see what the combo looks like. I haven't normal summoned yet, which is great. I can special summon this out. Now, I am going to search another copy of Bird Call, but that's okay. It's good, like, imperm bait, maybe, or something like that. But, yeah, I just normal summon there, so, you can use the effect attribute. I haven't used the effect to special summon. I can just use it later. So really I just kind of went in reverse order, which is great. And then I can search Nerval, Tri-Brigade. There we go. I can go into Double Dragon Lords now. Turn those into another Recital Starling. Barrel Canary is a 1 card XYZ, which is ridiculous. And there we go. There goes Ensemble Robin. Celestial can, attach as well. And then there we go. I can go for my blue line. I can also like search 1 card deeper in the hopes of, finding like a hand trap. And I found another Bird Call. So that was when I had it at 3. So I guess, I don't know, a little justice there for me. Like proof that I should have done that. I also like Starter just because you can also chain it with Double Dragon Lords. I should have used the snake effect and I didn't. That was my fault. But yeah, I just want to show like that was when there were 2 bricks in my hand. I was still able to combo off. And this hand's just really good. This is like the best case scenario. I might as well showcase this one, you know what I mean? And where Arfthal just searches anything. Again, all these free special summons are just so absolutely crazy. I did have Called by the Grave, so that's kind of nice, I guess. I think in this one I forget to do the snake line too. Or just like, the effect of basically put something in the spell and trap zone, I do. Because then it's just free fodder for Ancient Lords. And that's definitely its best application in this deck, 100%. Alright, Wagtail can search me Bird Call. I don't even think I used Bird Call yet, so that's just crazy. So I can go ahead, and there goes a couple of monsters there for the Link summon. I don't even know if I've used Sparrow yet. Oh, I think I was just a free. I only had a couple bodies left, so might as well like use Bird Call to its fullest abilities. And there goes F-Zero. Barrel Canary can bring this back. That's a free special summon. Yeah, instead of like using the effect to like add it as material, I might as well distribute it and go for the draw 2 there. So I talked about that during the deck profile, and there you go. It is possible. I can go for the Djinn Buster. This is a very fair end board, by the way. It's like pretty easily broken, but it's still like it's a lot of interaction. I think this is a really fun because it's like so fair. Like if you're playing casual, this I feel like is like acceptable in a casual setting. Like this is a weak monster, which is a negate. This is a bounce. These are bounces. Like it's not horrible, right? It's a decent end board, but it's just like a lower power level, and I think that could be like really fun depending on who you're playing with. I think this is actually Pearly. So obviously this is an incredible opening. You know, Where Art Thou just like fits everything you don't have, you just like get. It's really awesome. We'll see what I end up grabbing. Yeah, probably the slower swallow, because when you're going through the snake line, all you need is just one extra body. Just one extra level 1. So I'm going to be able to use that later. And now you can see, like, when you do open a Spright, it's not a brick. It just makes your end board that much better because your starter can get you, you know, red this time. And that's just really, really good. Yeah, and you get Bird Call. Like, it's so fun. Like, it's definitely fun. It's just unfortunate that, well, I'll show, okay, sometimes, like, if your opponent doesn't know how to hand trap, you have a lot of gas, it really doesn't matter. But other times you'll, like, lose to Effect Veiler, and it can be very frustrating. The goal always, like, when you're comboing, is to make Nerval the second Recital Starling. If you do it just like this, like, you know you're in such a good place. Like, you know you're pretty much going to win for sure. Yeah, okay, so just, like, digging a little bit in my deck there. I think I found the Ash. I don't think that was in my hand before. A little bit awkward. The Barrel Canary is just going to sit there, but I still have a lot of interaction. I'm just going to go ahead and bounce that to the hand so the effect doesn't go off. Right, I think that was like my only option. And yeah, I get to take his monster. It's a level 1, which is hilarious. So it has like a randomly good matchup. And like, this is where the Spright engine, I think, is like necessary when you're playing Lyrilusc, because it doesn't have Spell and Trap negate, you know, inherently. So it's like Spright just kind of fills in that gap, which is really, really cool. So take a look, right, when it comes to hand traps. And then just look at my hand. This is so ridiculous. And he's going to imperm the Warbler. That's fine. You know, I had Sparrow in my hand anyways. There goes Ash. Really doesn't matter, right? Because I have the Snake Eyes line. So, like, when I show this, it's like, oh, this deck could never lose to low-level hand traps. But yeah, it's just not always the case. But in this one, you know, I've secured my victory. I'm literally going full combo. There's no difference. I had, like, the perfect opening hand. I even had Droll, too. It's like, I wish I could just, like, make it so I could use it every time. I do use the extender for Joel and Lockbird. It's a level 1 monster, so again, more synergy. I guess if you really wanted to go all the way, you could replace the Kaijus with Effect Veilers because they're also level 1s. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty neat to just like destroy the guy after a couple like Imperm and Ash just like wasn't nearly enough. This is against Yubel. Again, just like I'm saying, like when you see the cards like there are Where Art Thou and Bird Call and stuff like that, the deck is like way more consistent than you would think. It's not perfect. There's gonna be hands where you're just gonna be like, all right, well, I can't do anything. But I think that's just part of Yu-Gi-Oh, especially when you're playing like casual strategies. Forgot to use the snake again. Definitely needed to put something up in the face-up spell and trap zone. But that's all right. We'll make it work. Warbler can go ahead and special summon. Haven't used Sparrow effect yet, so I can actually just bring that out with Nerval. Always a cool interaction when you get to do that. But you know you're like spoiled at that point when you get to go that far into the combo. Barrel Canary, there goes F-Zero. I think this is like the cleanest version of the combo I've showed so far. Yeah, you want to do Cobalt Sparrow because Sparrow lets you attach another one from the graveyard. And there we go. This is as clean as it gets. I think I also have targeting protection too for this. And that's really nice. He knew my back row was starter, so that's kind of bizarre if I'm being honest with you. But of course, this is not going to be nearly enough. You know what I mean? Just like, there's really no baiting it. And having Ash Blossom is good too. And that's why, the Tri-Brigade Fairjeet does a lot for the deck. Because you search through so much of your deck. The only cards that left, the majority of the cards that are left are like hand traps if you didn't already see them in your opening hand. Which is pretty nice. I think, oh no, I'll show you Fallen of Abaz. I think he opens like double Fallen. But, double Dragon Lords is like really good. You saw that it worked against the continuous trap, but being able to bounce something in the hand has a lot of utility. Not just like the basic ones that you might think of. It does have to be a face up, so that kind of stinks. But if it's against like a continuous trap or something like that, that's your chance to really chain it. And I finally do it right here. It's a good way to end. I finally do my combo correctly. And Warbler, I don't know if I have a Lyrilusc in the... I do. So there you go. This is like the best interaction you could ever do with Cobalt Sparrow. That's always the goal, to special summon, the Warbler with it. And there we go. And I can go for Recital starting. We'll see what I end up doing with it. Okay, so I think I'm probably just going to leave the Recital. I also could have brought back another Recital in the graveyard and then gone for F-Zero, but then I wouldn't have had Ensemble Robin, and Ensemble Robin is just so good. And I can go and set a card. So there you go, right? I can also, I think I found starter off of the Fair G, which is great. And there you go, right? Just have the spell and trap negate, which is just so important, of course. That's like the majority of people's decks these days. Spells and traps. Okay, so at least going second cards. But, you know, some decks rely on spells incredibly hard, like Fallen of Albaz. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys next time.